So I finally got one of the 2 face masks I ordered, and this one is so much more comfortable than anything I made. I could probably just walk around with this all the time, and hopefully you guys can hear me and I'm not too muffled, but I could walk around in this all the time and not feel suffocated. And the one I made for myself, I felt very suffocated all the time. But I got my parts that I was missing the other day, and I'm gonna be able to finish the project that I started yesterday. All right, guys. Today I'm just gonna focus on getting stuff done. So I'm not gonna be doing a lot of stopping to talk or show things or anything like that. I'm just gonna try to push straight through, finish the 2 drawers. I actually just pulled everything out of the van and did a deep clean. That's why I have my vacuum over there on the ground. Did a good wipe down of everything. Now I just want to knock out these 2 drawers and put this particular project behind me. This is gonna get right now. We got the new table over here. We have the new bed up, and we've built the drawers. And who knew building essentially 2 rectangular boxes was gonna be so difficult. They were initially 1 inch too big because the bed does have a slight curve to it. It's not as bad as my old camping cot. And I didn't really talk about why I went from a camping cot to a self-built bed back to a camping cot. My original camping cot was just the fastest solution I could get after I bought the van and got rid of the seats. And so, like, that was the fastest thing I could do. When I was really, like, poor but able to get into housing previously in my life, when I used to live in DC, I was homeless for a little bit, and then I was able to get into an apartment. I couldn't afford a bed, so I bought a camping cot, and that's basically where I got the idea, like, oh, camping cots is cheap beds. But I always intended to build my own bed. I had a big fantasy about how this van was gonna look. It's never gotten there, but I'm really happy with where it is now. But honestly, like I said, I built a bed. The legs didn't hold up. I kind of wiggled them off eventually, and I just decided it'd be easier to get something that was already built and bed like. This camping cot happened to be only 5'7" long, which was shorter than my previous camping cot. So I have my stove back behind the bed, but as soon as I move it, I still have enough room to get to, you see my 3 cubes back there. There's also 3 underneath. Right now, I couldn't open them because they're being blocked by the stove, but that doesn't have to be a permanent situation. Because I can pull the stove out, and like if I just put cooking stuff down there that I don't only use with the stove will be moved. I'll be able to pull those drawers in and out. So it's just about smart storage, so that I'm not blocking those bottom drawers. But otherwise, the best solutions for me personally have been finding things, home furnishings that already exist, and camping furnishings, and throwing them in the van. And if you discover you don't have a lot of carpentry skills, like I have about this much, a lot of my cuts are crooked and slightly imperfect. But the thing will function. It will function as it needed to. But when you need to have a squared up stable bed, like what I built wasn't cutting it, and so it's like much easier just to go back to a camping cot rather than try to like construct something and fail. And since I had all that wood, I only had to buy a little bit of wood, but since I already had wood for the bed platform, I just repurposed that into storage under the bed, because I kept researching, and everything I found for storage as far as size is imperfect. It was funny, I was in the store with a measuring tape and a lady assumed I worked there. Because I'm like going to bins and I'm pulling out my measuring tape and pulling out my notes and pulling out my measuring tape and measuring stuff, and she asked me where, I don't know, she asked me where something was. It was really funny. But anyway, and like I've done that a lot for a lot of things to see if they would fit in the back, like the 2 cabinets like furthest back, which is the cubes, and then the tall cabinet right beside it. Like I did so much measuring to make sure those 2 would fit in that space, and it was still like off by a little bit, because it wasn't personally built by me. It's always great when you can like build stuff, but it never ever turns out great. But for what these storage bins need to be, which is the most efficient use of space underneath the bed, I think they were the best solution. I have one more project in the back in what I call the garage, that I want to get done before I leave Oregon. So that's like the final thing I need to get done, but I'm waiting for something to come in the mail before I can finish that. So that's my other project, which is like the rear storage. And again, we're gonna switch arms. And again, that's more about stuff that, like, my tools are back there. You know, if there's a way for the ladder to be back there. Right now it's beside my bed because it was the best place I could put it, but right now I have a lot of dead space back there that I can't properly organize. And it isn't that I don't need the stuff, but right now it's just stuff all over the place they can't store properly. So my rear storage project is the one thing I have left. Again, I found a way to use things that already exist to sort of ease up some of the pain of building it. Because what I've discovered is I'm not good at it. So I'm doing the best I can, piecing together things that already exist and just bringing them into the space and trying to do something custom with them, as opposed to just, you know, trying to build it all myself, because that would never happen and work out well. But it's okay to try and fail, and you will. That's the good thing about having a flexible van. Like, I was able to pull everything out of here and clean the entire floor. Which you can't do when you have a bunch of permanently fitted stuff. And now I'm not saying never go there, but it's something that's really cool about my situation, when I want to do sort of a thorough, like, clean out. And also, like, worst comes to worst and this minivan fails, a lot of this stuff I could pull out and put in another vehicle really, really easy, even if it's just my starter kit as I upgrade. And so that's another good thing. Like, if I get like a blank or whatever, let's say I got a cargo van, you know. Let's say I upgrade it to that. I could pull this camping cot out and just pop it into the cargo van. I can detach those shelves back there really, really easily, maybe about 10 to 12 screws, and pop them, you know, assuming they don't fall apart, because they are like pretty much cheap home furnishings. Like, they aren't IKEA, they came from Target, but it's the same like cheapo build. But if they're still holding up and I'm not ready yet to upgrade or financially able, I can just pop those out and pop them into a new van. And that's kind of what's cool about it. Like, it's not Instagram cool. Instagram cool is like building these like fantastic custom vans that are super, super impressive. But it is practical, and no matter what size of vehicle you're working with, there's probably stuff out there that you can work into living in your mobile home just as easily. So that bag back there basically has parts that I need for the other project. That's the only reason it's still sitting on the bed right now. I got nothing else for you. I'm super tired. So I'll see you guys in the next video.